Okay, welcome back everybody to our pre-summer 8-part session. We're going to be talking about, this is the second topic we're going to be talking about in the 8-session series. And once again, please, if you have questions or comments, please address them to events@chazak.org. And Chazak is spelled C-H-A-Z-A-Q. My name is Dr. Shmuel Shields. I'm a nutritionist, and I'm going to be continuing to do these sessions. Last week we spoke about, or the last session I should say, was on whole foods. And we spoke about the importance of whole foods. So let's say, for example, somebody left that session and said, you know what, I'm going to stick to whole foods in my meal plan, and I happen to like steel-cut oats, which we will call a whole food. And the only thing that's been done to it, you have a whole grain, all the nutrients are there. They basically cut the grain in half, quickens the cooking time a little bit, but we call it a whole food, a whole grain, all the nutrients are there. And if a person says, my whole food meal plan is going to consist of steel-cut oats for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner, it's true, they do have a whole food meal plan, but they are missing, as you can imagine, many other essential ingredients that are found in other foods that would really need to be incorporated to make the meal plan sound and more balanced. So what I want to talk about today, and this is where nutrition is really trending, and many of you are probably familiar with the concept or at least heard of the concept of rainbow nutrition. So that's the title. The title tells it all. We're talking about colors. We want to incorporate as many colors as we can in our daily meal plans. And colors play an important role in our health. I'm just going to show you a little picture here of just to give you some ideas on how to keep it colorful. This is actually a meal plan, a one-day meal plan. What you see here are quite a number of colors, different colors there. And this is where what we want to emphasize in this class. So what makes colors so important? Well, basically these colors, these are called pigments that give the food their color. Sometimes they're referred to, these chemicals, these are chemicals in the food. They call them sometimes phytochemicals or phytonutrients. But these phytochemicals and phytonutrients give foods their color, their taste, their aroma, and these chemicals have certain components to them that when we consume them, they play a protective role in the body. They protect the eyes, the blood vessels, the skin, the brain. They do a lot of good things. So my encouragement to you is to, in order to build on what we spoke about initially about whole foods, is to continue to add whole foods, but make sure you're adding foods that have different colors. Ideally, you want to get as many colors a day into your meal plans and snacks. So some of you may remember the term that you may have learned when you were younger, Roy G. Biv, R-O-Y-G-B-I-V, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Those are the colors of the rainbow, and we have foods that match those colors. And I just want to give you a little feel, a little taste for what these colors are, some of the chemical names, and some of the health benefits that could be derived from these types of foods. So let's start with the red group. Roy G. Biv starts with R for red. We have a phytochemical, a phytonutrient called lycopene. This pigment has powerful antioxidant properties, meaning it protects our cells from damage done by oxidation. And if we get the lycopene in, it's been linked to reduce risk of developing certain cancers, reducing the risk of macular degeneration, a serious eye disorder, and cardiovascular disease. Where do we find lycopene? It's in tomato products, tomato sauce, beets, cherries, cranberries, etc. So it's in a lot of different foods. I want to move on just to the next color. the orange group. The orange group of foods has a certain group of chemicals, phytochemicals, again, plant pigments that give the foods their colors, and they are called carotenoids. One of the more familiar carotenoids is one called beta-carotene, which is found primarily in your orange and yellow colored foods, things like butternut squash, cantaloupe, carrots, sweet potatoes, peaches, pumpkin, etc. A very important ingredient that also plays a role in the health of our skin, protects against certain cancers, also protects against macular degeneration and heart disease. So again, getting some of the orange foods in on a regular basis would be important. As we go through the colors, think of which ones you tend to miss and think of ways that you could build them in. I'm actually quoting today from a sefer called L'chaim, 18 Chapters to Live By, which is a book that I wrote, and I'm just going through some of the chapters here. Okay, we're talking now about the yellow group of foods. The yellow group here also includes some beta-carotene, so you have things like yellow peppers, pineapple, yellow squash, sweet corn, and even the yolk of an egg. Okay, there are even yellow tomatoes. And then we have another group, the greens. Greens are a little bit more common. People tend to get some greens in. There are many, many different kinds of green foods, and they contain chlorophyll, which helps cleanse the blood. And the particular phytonutrient I want to talk about in the green foods is one called lutein. Lutein plays a dramatic role in maintaining good eye health. And again, the green foods, things like avocados, green beans, broccoli, collard greens, romaine lettuce, kiwi, green peppers, spinach, many, many green foods that you can benefit from. So the goal is to try to get some of the greens into your diet. Now we're going to combine the blue group and the purple group, or the indigo group, together. The phytochemical, the plant pigment in these foods, which gives these foods their beautiful blue, purplish colors, is something called anthocyanins. Anthocyanins, and they are known to strengthen blood vessels and consequently reduce the risk of stroke and cardiovascular disease. So again, foods like blackberries, eggplant, plums, prunes, purple cabbage, purple grapes, and raisins are some of the foods that contain the anthocyanins. Okay, so we basically covered the Roy G. Biv, the 7 different colors. So I'm going to encourage you, when you're planning your meals, think of ways, creative ways, when you're planning meals and snacks, to get some of these colorful foods in to benefit from the health properties of these plant pigments. Again, in a salad, in a good salad, you could probably knock off 3 or 4 colors right there. You put in, let's say, an orange, let's say a yellow pepper, maybe some carrots, some greens, maybe some red tomatoes, and bingo, you got like 3 or 4 different colors right there for the day. Okay, to be continued. Next week, or the next session, will be facts on fats in the diet. Okay, see you again soon.